Hey, so here's an update that nobody asked for. Welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. It has been about a year, I think, since I made the first part of this video talking about my journey so far with chronic illness. If you missed the first video, it's a little long. I will do a super fast recap for you. I discuss the past 7 years being misdiagnosed with one chronic illness, finding out about it about 5 years later, issues dealing with doctors and trying to get a more current or real diagnosis. And I just I think I left off at the point where I spoke to a rheumatologist and talked to her about the chronic joint pain, the fatigue, digestive issues, allergies, headaches, like all of it, because I don't know what's related, what's not. And basically I was just left with a really soft, squishy diagnosis of fibromyalgia. So I kind of just left it at that for a little bit. Where I am now, things have changed drastically in my life, my work life. Since then, I graduated grad school. My partner and I, Nick, moved to Texas, where I work now. Things are going really great in that department, but because I don't go to school anymore, my health insurance ran out last summer. So it honestly wasn't a big deal at first. I got lucky and just didn't get really sick or anything yet. But then the digestive issues I have are like much older than the serious joint pain, but I honestly don't know if they're connected or not. But for about 10 years, I have to take a medication to be able to eat, because if I eat more than just like a couple bites of something, like my intestines just have pain. The doctor I saw when I was 17 just kind of gave up after every test we could think of and just was like, okay, yeah, you have IBS. So that's where that is set for 10 years. But so my medication renewal was up, and because stupidly, while I still had insurance, I didn't go think to see my doctors one more time and get it renewed for a year. So that was like a whole fiasco of trying to get that taken care of. All my doctors back in Missouri. I mean, it's not their fault. Like, they legally are trying to crack down on all that sort of stuff. So they couldn't just renew it to me over the phone. It was really frustrating just because it was an emergency. Like, I understand, like, your legal responsibilities. They can't just renew medications without talking to you. But I ended up paying out of pocket to go to an urgent care to get it renewed for a month. That was really expensive. I did finally find a health clinic in our area has financial aid programs for low-income families and people that don't have health insurance. So luckily, I have that, so now if I get sick, at least, I can go see them for pretty cheap. But part of going and like getting what they call established there was doing some testing, getting an exam, all that kind of stuff. I'm honestly still working on trying to see if they'll renew my prescription for me for longer than a couple of months. But along with that came blood tests for lupus and rheumatoid arthritis, because while I was there, I was like, I'm gonna see if they can help with everything at once. So I spent the last 6 weeks waiting to hear about that, which was really stressful. They both came back negative, which, I don't know, unless you deal with something like this, it's really hard to explain. I was really upset that they were both negative. I knew they would be because I think I've been tested at least for lupus before, but like, it sounds so ridiculous to be like, oh, I hope I have lupus, but it's great that I can check those off the list for sure, but now I'm back to square one. I don't know. And I found out through a whole other thing that I won't even bother going into. I had to request my medical records from the rheumatologist I saw, and I'm not going to go into it because it'll just take too long to explain and make me really angry. But basically, through her notes that she made, I'm not sure if she just gave me a maybe fibromyalgia diagnosis because that's what she really thought, or because she doesn't believe me about what I'm dealing with. So that when I left off with my last video, I kind of talked about that not having a label, like a medical label, was kind of freeing, because I don't know, I felt like I had let myself become that a little bit when I thought I had rheumatic fever. I think I said before, for me, like, I gained control of it through knowledge, and so like researching and trying to support the American Heart Association and their research projects and all that kind of stuff, that's what helped me feel like I was taking control of it. And when that was taken away and I found out that I didn't have that anymore, like the actual illness, I didn't have the illness, and I was just back to knowing absolutely nothing, that like really tore me apart for a little while. So once I had kind of let go of that, and I was just like, I don't have a label, I don't have to deal with the weight of the name of the thing, that felt kind of great. And to a certain extent, it still kind of does. And if none of these other factors played a part, I think I would just say, okay, fine. Like, I am actively trying different things on my own. Herbal stuff, food stuff, health stuff. That's kind of what I've been doing on this channel, is trying to see if I can come up with ways to help me myself. Because now I can't afford, and I've had terrible luck with doctors not caring or not being helpful. So in that regard, I'm kind of like, I could just do it on my own. Here's why I care and why I need a real diagnosis. So I don't have health insurance. I cannot get any help with health insurance, like Medicaid or anything like that, because I am not on government disability. I actually was applying for disability before we moved to Texas because I didn't have a job yet. And in Missouri at that time, I qualified for, like, you have to make under a certain amount a month to qualify for disability. So I actually, that process started in Missouri. I qualified. I haven't looked it up here because honestly, I'm sure I don't. While I am only working part-time, I'm actually finally making enough money to not be insanely broke all the time, which is fantastic, but it's not enough money for me to pay $300 a month for health insurance. So no health insurance, no disability. That will be a problem in a couple of years when I need to get my handicap placard renewed. Let's see, what else? Oh, the big one. I can't believe I forgot this, but I have private student loans, which I have in a separate video where I discuss that. If you want to go see, look at 10 things you should know before starting college, there's a bit where I talk about kind of the differences between federal and student loans. Not federal and student, between federal and private loans. The big one is private loans do not have income-based payment plans, which I didn't know when I got them. So I'm really fortunate that my parents can afford to help me right now. They are still co-signers. So if I don't make the payments, that affects them. not just me, which is horrifying. But I'm incredibly lucky that they can afford and are willing to help me out with that until I can get them off as co-signers. But one of the things I tried right away and will keep trying to do is applying for loan forgiveness because of disability, which, because the paperwork I had wasn't really anything. Like I just needed a piece of paper from a doctor that says patient diagnosed with fibromyalgia, can't work more than such and such hours a week. And so they were, they rejected it, which I knew they would, because I have nothing. I have nothing. So I wish it didn't have to be an issue of that. I honestly am considering driving 700 miles to go visit my family this summer and just see what I have to pay out of pocket to go see my old doctor so I can get my friggin' prescriptions renewed. The clinic I'm seeing gave me a referral to a rheumatologist and to a GI in the area. That stands for gastroenterologist. They gave me a phone number for one doctor's office that might have financial aid help. I need to call them and see if I can qualify for that. Otherwise, it's going to be $200 a pop before any testing, but I don't know. I care and I don't. Like, I kind of just want to be done. I think, honestly, it doesn't stress me out that much until you dangle the possibilities of answers in front of me. I just, completely broke down at the doctor's office the other day just because I wanted an easy answer. I wanted her to say, yes, lupus, yes, rheumatoid arthritis. Here's what we can do about it. It's been 7 years of this, and I was talking to my mom recently, and she just asked me, do you even remember what it feels like to not be in pain? And instantly I said no. Like, I compartmentalize it really well because I'm so used to it, which is very useful on certain occasions, but I am constantly working towards ways to make myself feel better, and I think that's really important. And I just got an elliptical, which it's like an elliptical / stationary bike, and I love it. And I am still figuring out how much I can do, how fast I can ride before things start to hurt, but it's all a learning process, and I am trying to get myself in a decent amount of shape and always trying to figure out food-wise what I can eat to make me feel better, and making fun videos about it. So, if nothing else, this has been a fun way for me to talk about it and get myself to try new things so that maybe somebody going through something similar will see it and maybe it'll make them laugh, or that feeling of like, someone who understands me. Like, that's the best feeling. Like, even if it's not completely the same situation, like when that switch goes off of like something sounds really similar and you're just like, oh, you're me, like you get it. If I could provide that for somebody else, that would be fantastic. It's the middle of May. We just got done with first semester, my first year of teaching. It's really exciting. And I have a few weeks off before the summer semester starts, so I am resting, trying to figure stuff out. I guess I will call the financial aid assistant at that doctor and see what happens with that. But in the meantime, I'm just trucking along, enjoying the sunshine while it's here, enjoying Texas, enjoying life. Grateful for the stuff that I have, for my partner, and that I am living the dream life. I am working my dream job. I'm still can't believe it some days. But yeah, maybe I'll have a good news update next year. Maybe, hopefully sooner. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. See ya.